Hi guys, I've got some information for you and then I've got a question for you. I'm standing outside because of the question, but let me give you the information first. When we gain weight, the fat cell, think of it like a water balloon. The fat cell gets more fat in it and it's like putting more water in the balloon. The volume increases. We call that hypertrophy. The thing gets bigger, right? And the fat cell gets bigger. We don't get more fat cells. That's what we thought. But there's also a thing, and that's how men hold weight. The men usually hold weight in the midsection, the back, or in the abdominal cavity. And hypertrophy, the fat cells, they don't get more of them. The fat cells just get fuller, like that water balloon, just gets more water in it. And to lose weight, we have to take water out the balloon. We have to burn off the fat in the cell. The cells get smaller and we get smaller. But there's also a thing called hyperplasia. So hyperplasia is actually where the cell replicates. And the cell doesn't get bigger, you just get more of them. And for a long time, we didn't even think that was possible. But it is possible, because usually the fat cells are pretty much, the number of fat cells you have is pretty much determined by the time, kids get out of puberty, which begs the concern of the kids getting heavier in puberty, but that's a whole different video, right? So the number of fat cells is usually pretty much determined by girls, probably, late teens, guys, maybe 19 getting to 20. But with hyperplasia, we actually gain fat cells and we get more and more of them. And you know where that happens? Ladies, it is very common to have that in the butt and femoral area, the thigh, upper thigh. And that is one of the reasons why some ladies seem to be able to get just an outstanding amount of fat on their glutes and their hips. And luckily right now that the fashion that's very fashionable. But you sometimes you see the ladies, it's kind of bizarre, how much weight they hold on in one area of the body. Well, that's because estrogen can actually cause weight gain with hyperplasia as opposed to hypertrophy. Hypertrophy, the cell gets bigger. Hyperplasia, you get more fat cells. Now, going back to the original question, and that was, did I even mention the question? I got asked the question, can I be fat and healthy? And that is a good question because actually women can, it's getting windy, huh? Women can actually have more fat than men, but be a lot healthier. Now, one of the reasons is this hypertrophy, that guys hold fat, the fat cell gets bigger, and especially in the abdominal cavity, that visceral fat can kind of, too close to the liver, leaks into the liver, it's a problem, linked to all sorts of problems, right? But when the ladies gain the fat with hyperplasia, like the cell replicates, it's not as unhealthy. It's definitely not healthy to be obese, but you can get a lady that has a lot more fat than a guy, and she can be a lot healthier. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. Hyperplasia and hypertrophy. Now on to the question. Any of you, look, I'm not from the country, right? And I'm in Idaho, so all this is still new. I have a bald tree. Does anybody know if this tree is dead or not? Look at my tree. This tree is usually, it's a maple tree, so it's bright red in the fall. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it should be like the rest of our trees, covered in leaves, and it's not. Any of you guys that are a bit more countrified than I am, because this is all new to me, I'm assuming it's somewhat distressed, but anybody know? It's a huge maple. It has a few leaves on it, but it is really struggling right now, but I don't want to lose my tree.